Okay, this is Algebra 1, Chapter 1.5. We're going to be rewriting equations and formulas. So basically what we're going to do in this worksheet is that we're going to be isolating x or anything that you see for that certain variable. Okay, so first of all, let's look at u equals to k multiplied by x. It looks like we have to isolate x. Okay, so what you're going to do is understand this is basically saying k multiplied by x. In order to get rid of that k, you're going to have to, since it's multiplication, so you have to divide it by k on both sides. Okay, so you're going to see a bunch of questions like this that we're going to not dealing with any numbers. We're just going to have to deal with the variables. Okay, so we have x equals to u over k, and that's all you need to do. Okay, so that's number one. Let's look at number two. So this time we're going to have to solve for x again. Okay, so first thing you want to do is you can just subtract c on both sides. Okay, why am I doing that? Let me go back and give you a better explanation. So you want to look at it, we want to isolate x, right? But you want to look at this as positive c to subtract x. Okay, so in order to isolate the x, you have to just isolate the negative x first. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract c on both sides. This is cancel. So now I'm going to have g minus c equals to negative x. Okay, here comes a little tricky part because we try to isolate x, but this is negative x. What you can do is you can multiply by negative 1 on both sides. Okay, so if you would multiply by negative 1 on both sides, understand that this negative 1 is going to distribute to both terms. So you're going to have a negative g, okay, and you're going to have a negative times a negative c, so that's going to be a positive g, okay, and that's going to equal to a negative mixed with a positive, so that's going to be x. Okay, you can rewrite that as x is going to equal to c minus g. You can just switch the places, okay, or you can leave it like this, doesn't matter, it's the same thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the next one. All right, so this time we're going to have to isolate for a. This one is pretty easy, pretty sure it's easier than the previous one. Okay, so what we're going to do is that we know this is the positive k. So in order to do it is you're going to subtract k on both sides. Okay, so this is going to be canceled. So now your a is isolated is going to equal to negative k plus w plus v. Okay, that might look a little confusing because that's why exactly the answer I'm giving you, right? You could write it like this if you want to. So just go ahead and put w plus v and then subtract k. That might be a little easier. Okay, so next one we have to solve for a. So there's two parts we have to get rid of. It's a c and b. Okay, do not just cancel them out by subtracting c minus b. Okay, it's not that. All right, so first thing you want to do is that we want to get rid of this positive b first. So you want to subtract b on both sides. Okay, what that's going to give you is going to be g minus b equals to ac. Okay, next, understand that this is basically saying a multiplied by c. So in order to get rid of that c, you have to do a division. Okay, so I'm going to have to divide it by c on both sides. When you divide it by the c on the left hand side, make sure you're going to be dividing the whole entire expression. So g minus b. All right, so that's going to give you, the c's are cancel out. You're going to have a is equal to g minus b over c. Okay, comes the last problem. Okay, so understand this x over k is basically saying x divided by k. Okay, so in order to isolate the x in this case, we have to get rid of that k by the opposite of division. That's going to be multiplication. So we're going to have to multiply by k. Okay, so multiply by k on both sides. So some of you guys might go like, all right, if I multiply by k, so where do I put my k? Okay, so another way you can think of it is you're going to multiply by k over 1. K over 1 is basically k. Okay, so multiply by k over 1. So that's going to allow you to cancel out the k. And then you're just going to have x. Now it's isolated. Okay, it's equal to, go ahead and multiply across. Just multiply across. Okay, so you're going to have b, y, k in your numerator side over, so you have w multiplied by 1, so over w. Okay, so that's it for this video. Good luck.